Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I am invaded by this guy here. What do you want to do? Go. In this video, we will... Don't sit on my glasses with your ass. This video, we're going to discuss another person, another Westerner who moved to Russia. I have a few guys that I can mention who moved to Russia, and I wonder why. Well, you can't say that they're all imbeciles. I mean, this is what the media tries to portray them. Whomever moves over there either has a problem with the West because they are wanted by the West. But yes, they're wanted by the West, by some authorities in the West. For various reasons, some of them for free speech violations, some of them for, I don't know, criminality. I have no idea. The last one, we're going to discuss about that anyway. The last person who moved to Moscow is Charles de Gaulle's grandson. Now, what did he do? What did this guy do in France so he moves to Moscow? Charles de Gaulle, remember the general, the French general, okay, who entered Paris as the winner of the Second World War, and then the American tanks followed him because that's the way it was. Nevertheless, let me show you this article, and then we want to discuss some more people who moved to Russia and why is that. Here, Charles de Gaulle's grandson to move to Moscow, Russia's top MP. Pierre de Gaulle reportedly announced his intention during a meeting with Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin. Pierre de Gaulle, the grandson of the late French leader General Charles de Gaulle, intends to move to Moscow, the Russian State Duma announced on Monday. That's what they announced. News of de Gaulle's residency plans were published on the Telegram account of the lower chamber of Russia's parliament after he met with its chairman, Vyacheslav Volodin. The post included footage of the two shaking hands and having a discussion. The conversation focused on the preservation of historic memory, primarily that of World War II, and improving Russo-French humanitarian ties. The report says the French national is a vocal critic of President Emmanuel Macron, who he previously accused of, and I'm quoting, creating chaos for the sake of personal power. He has also publicly stated that he would consider it an honor if he were granted Russian citizenship. Wow, interesting. Now, this is the guy. Right. Profile proves his de Gaulle's his profile grandson. All right. Now, let's talk about certain people who moved to Russia. Obviously, or if obviously, I don't know if it's obvious for you. Steven Seagal, that crazy guy, right? Moved to Russia. You know, he's wanted for sexual and all that. Okay. Then you have Gérard Depardieu. Remember that one? It's a French actor, again accused of touching adult women. But nevertheless, I'm not saying that's okay without the women's approval. Right? You can grab them if you have the money, right? And they will like it. That's what what's his name? Trump claimed, right? Do you think it's accurate? Anyway, we're not going to discuss that here. Now, who else? Edward Snowden. Why did he move over there? Because this imbecile suspended his passport while he was traveling from Hong Kong to Moscow. Very, very sloppy, how do you call it, agencies. Who else? We have that woman, her name is Tara Reid. She was, I don't want to show you a picture. She was, she accused Joe Biden of sexual harassment, and then she moved to Russia. Why? Because all these guys are on Russia's payroll, obviously. Who else? It's a boxer. I can't remember the boxer's name. World champion used to be. Again, he moved to Russia. He's black. Okay. Steven Seagal is half Jewish, if you didn't know that one. And I think he was born in Lansing, Michigan. Steven Seagal. Who else? We have the former, was she a foreign minister of Austria? She lives over there. You can say, well, it's normal, man. When you try to catch them in their country, they go to the source. They run to the paymasters. Okay, well, indeed, something like this occurs and it's logical. But if we use the same logic, then why most Russian click tycoons left Russia and live in London, New York, and some of them ran somewhere else? Why is that? Like Abramovich and others. And they are Russians, all of them. It's because Putin wants to, because Putin is bad, right? So let's be consistent, all right? So I'm pretty sure Steven Seagal is just a spy. Okay, nevertheless, so this is just a number. I think there's going to be more moving to Russia. If these guys are successful in destroying our culture here. But we can't let that happen. Why? Because remember, we are stronger. We should be stronger. If not, we deserve to lose. That means we're weaker. Because you can't just claim you're strong, but you lose all the time. You have to win. And I think these guys, the strong people in American society, I'm talking in Western societies, are just too busy making a living. And the fact that these guys created such a selfish, they call it differently, obviously, society, individualistic, that's how they call it, selfish society, it makes you think that I have my boat, I have my property, I have my house, I have my vacations, I have my kids, everybody else, everything. Well, that's why there are public schools, that's why is Hollywood, that's why is the mass media, to make you feel that way. Don't communicate, don't meet face to face. Use text, hide behind something that is, virtual communication system. Most of them. So therefore, if the strong people, which should be more disciplined, thinking ahead, postponing gratification, if these guys do not understand that everything they got now, their children's will not have, then even if you don't have a child, and you're just thinking, living for yourself, at that point, you should be called what you are, a selfish person. You have to have outside of yourself goals for something else. I don't know, saving cats, loving cats, saving this and that. But you have to get engaged in some more noble endeavors than you. So why do they move over there? I think Russia, as of now, preserves what the Western civilization used to have, and these guys try to destroy our Western civilization. Remember, that's a clique that is alien to us, hate us, and we have imbeciles and people who hate themselves as well. I had a conversation with a friend a long time ago, and he asked me, why is it that children of, well-to-do families, they become liberals? Because they're spoiled, because they don't know the value of the money, and because their parents shelter them, or the parents were too busy creating the good life for them, to material life, to live, and gave the role of educating the kids and upbringing to the state, which is the government. And the government preserves itself and is owned, because it's elected by the same guys. Now, why would you want to, let's say, you live in a family, why would you want to destroy your families? I don't know, homogeneity, let's say, the culture that you have in your family. Why would you want? Unless you are very, very, you were hurt by something, and you try to destroy, you say, oh, it's wrong, but you want your parents to be, or something. Or you invited someone from outside a long time ago that now is part of the family, but actually that person is not part of your family. That person is actually hating you because somewhere in the past, before you got that person or you accepted that person in your household, his ancestors were somehow done wrong by your ancestors. And these guys don't forget, because they have their writings, and they're the victims. Perpetual. Yeah. So think about it. Think about, why would you destroy your own culture? Because someone made you think that your culture is equal with that culture. When your culture is better than that culture, worse than that culture, equal to that culture. You don't think so? Well, then compare music. Let's say a symphony with a drum beat. Now, obviously, one requires more mental sophistication than the other one. So if I create as a culture, let's say, just a drum beat, that's my only A and B. So only two notes. I don't even have notes. And that's my culture. And someone creates a symphony, I don't know, played by 150 instruments in the same time. I think that's more sophisticated, required more something. So that's obviously superior with a beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, however you want to. And you don't even know what notes are. Those guys invented it for you. Don't you think? So I think that's a little bit, you can, that's why this guy say, no, it's cultural relativism. No, it's not. It's not relativism whatsoever. Music, it's based on what? Sophistication. You know who's sophisticated and who's not. And those with the drums never invented that one. But those ones were through this about, I don't know, 15,000 years ago. So it's obviously you can show something. And so on, so on. I can give you more examples, you know. I mean, you go in certain countries and they still use the fucking plow. Why? Couldn't they figure out something else? And others, oh, economic? How come the other ones? Don't give me they were oppressed and all that garbage. All right. Everyone was oppressed at one point. And what they do? Made a revolution. Why? But if you're weak, you don't make a revolution and you suck dick all the time. To make it rhyme. Sorry. So here you have, these guys are moving to Russia. Russia could remain, as Putin signed that decree, accepting Westerners or whomever wants to come from Western countries, having enough with these guys. No, I don't think we should do this. We didn't lose yet because we didn't start fighting yet. We didn't start fighting yet. We didn't lose. So just losing by saying, fuck it, it's easier, that's another individualistic way of seeing things. Now, it's true that sometimes you can look at a big, I don't know, snowball coming towards you and you realize you're going to be squashed by it and so you move to the side. It's understandable, but then you come from behind and get that melted. It's not that you're going to be just, okay, I'm going to move to the side, I'm going to live my life in Russia and screw those guys. Well, always have in mind something. But nevertheless, come back to your people. Right, Emil? Yeah. And when you come back to your people, you don't come to vote and be voted in the office because your people don't know what that is. Look what they did. Look what they have. Is that an evidence that, for instance, Romania knows how to work with democracy? No, because now Romania is occupied militarily, politically, economically, and most importantly, culturally. So when you go over there, you're not going to play with the votes. Can you play with the military? No, you can't. Why? Romanian military is garbage. And then you're occupied by NATO. So what can it be done? Well, it could be done here. You have to fight here with words and organize and all that. Okay, I'm not talking anything physical or anything like that. So, all right. You change it at the source, and then from here you order down the pipeline. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.